The human mind, in its modern iteration, often feels like a ship adrift in a ceaseless storm. We are bombarded by information, assailed by anxieties, and often left searching for an anchor in a world that seems to delight in chaos. But what if the solutions to our contemporary struggles are not new but ancient? What if the path to an iron mind and a calm soul lies hidden in the wisdom of those who walked this earth long before the internet, before the Industrial Revolution, before even written language as we know it? This brings us to a profound mystery, one not of crime or intrigue, but of human resilience. How did ancient cultures, devoid of modern psychology or pharmacology, cultivate a profound inner strength and serenity that often eludes us today? This is the core question we will explore. If you find yourself seeking enduring clarity and peace, consider subscribing to Culture Origin, where we unearth timeless wisdom for the modern mind. Our journey begins not in a bustling city, but in the silent, wind-swept highlands of the Andes, among the descendants of the Inca. For centuries, Western thought has grappled with the concept of mental fortitude, often framing it as a battle against external forces or an internal struggle against our own perceived weaknesses. Yet, the Andean worldview, particularly as expressed through the concept of Ayni, offers a strikingly different perspective. Ayni, often translated as reciprocity, is far more than a simple exchange. It is a fundamental principle of the cosmos, a dynamic balance between giving and receiving, between nature and humanity, between the individual and the community. To the Inca and to their descendants, Ayni was not merely a social custom. It was the very fabric of existence, a blueprint for a life lived in harmony. Consider the life of a typical Andean farmer, perhaps a man named Mateo, living in a small village nestled amongst the towering peaks. His days are governed by the rhythms of the earth, planting, harvesting, tending to his animals. There is no concept of retirement in his world, no rigid separation between work and leisure. Life is a continuous flow, a series of interactions with the land, the community, and the spiritual realm. When Mateo plants his crops, he understands he is not simply performing a task. He is engaging in an act of Ayni with Pachamama, Mother Earth. He gives his labor, his seeds, his care, and in return, Pachamama provides sustenance. This reciprocal relationship extends to every facet of his life. When his neighbor Elena needs help repairing her roof, Mateo offers his time and skill without expectation of immediate monetary reward, knowing that when he needs assistance, Elena or another member of the community will offer theirs. This is not charity, it is Ayni. The modern mind, accustomed to transactional relationships and individualistic pursuits, might struggle to grasp the profound implications of this worldview. We often see strength as an individual attribute, a capacity to overcome challenges alone. But for Mateo and his community, true strength emerges from interconnectedness. The anxieties that plague us, loneliness, the fear of inadequacy, the burden of self-reliance, are mitigated by a system where every individual is an integral, valued part of a larger whole. When Mateo faces a personal hardship, he is not alone. The community, bound by Ayni, becomes a collective source of resilience. They share the burden, offer comfort, and provide practical support. This deep sense of belonging, woven into the very fabric of daily life, acts as a powerful antidote to the isolation and existential dread that so many in the modern world experience. The absence of a rigid self-other dichotomy is another crucial element. In Western thought, the individual self is often seen as distinct and separate from the world around it. This separation can lead to feelings of alienation and a constant striving for individual achievement, often at the expense of communal well-being. However, in the Andean tradition, the self is understood as intrinsically linked to the community and to nature. Matteo does not see himself as an isolated entity. He is a thread in the intricate tapestry of his village, his family, and the natural world. This interconnectedness fosters a profound sense of purpose. His actions, whether tilling the soil or participating in a communal ceremony, are not just for his own benefit, but contribute to the health and vitality of the entire system. This perspective naturally cultivates a calm soul, as the burden of individualistic striving is replaced by the quiet strength of shared existence. The concept of time also plays a significant role in shaping this inner fortitude. For Matteo, time is not a linear progression from past to present to future, a relentless march towards an uncertain end. Instead, time is cyclical, a continuous dance of seasons, harvests, and generations. This cyclical understanding fosters a deep acceptance of life's inherent impermanence and its recurring patterns. The anxieties we often feel about the future, the fear of aging, the uncertainty of tomorrow, are tempered by the knowledge that life, like the seasons, will always renew itself. The past is not something to be left behind, but a living presence that informs the present. Ancestors are not merely memories, they are part of the ongoing cycle, offering guidance and wisdom. This perspective cultivates a profound serenity, an ability to embrace the flow of life without resistance, understanding that every ending is also a new beginning. Let us now shift our focus to another ancient culture, the Stoics of ancient Greece and Rome. While geographically distant from the Andes, the Stoics, through rigorous philosophical practice, also sought to cultivate an iron mind and a calm soul. Their approach, though different in its cultural expression, shares striking parallels with the Andean wisdom, particularly in its emphasis on what is within our control and what is not. The modern world often encourages us to chase external validations, wealth, status, fleeting pleasures, believing these will bring lasting happiness. The Stoics, however, taught that true peace comes from within, from cultivating virtue and accepting the natural order of the universe. Consider the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, a figure of immense power and responsibility, yet one who practiced Stoicism daily. His personal writings, compiled as meditations, offer a window into a mind striving for inner tranquility amidst the immense pressures of his office. He faced wars, plagues, political intrigue, and personal loss. Yet his writings repeatedly emphasize the importance of distinguishing between what is within his power to change and what is not. He understood that he could not control external events, the actions of others, or even his own physical health. What he could control, however, was his own judgments, his own reactions, and his own character. This principle, often referred to as the dichotomy of control, is a cornerstone of Stoic practice. The modern mind, constantly seeking to exert control over every aspect of life, often finds itself overwhelmed by frustration and anxiety when faced with the uncontrollable. We worry about things that are beyond our influence, the economy, global events, the opinions of others. But the Stoics taught a radical acceptance. Focus your energy only on what you can genuinely impact. When faced with a challenge, ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, then release your attachment to changing it, and instead focus on your response to it. This practice, simple yet profound, liberates the mind from a colossal burden of unnecessary worry. For example, imagine a modern individual, Sarah, constantly anxious about her financial future. She worries about market fluctuations, potential job losses, and rising costs of living. A Stoic approach would encourage Sarah to identify what parts of her financial situation are within her control. She can control her spending habits, her savings, her efforts to acquire new skills, and her attitude towards her work. She cannot control the global economy or the decisions of her government. By shifting her focus from the uncontrollable to the controllable, Sarah can reduce her anxiety and channel her energy into productive actions. This is not about passive resignation, but about active, intelligent engagement with reality. Furthermore, the Stoics emphasize the practice of negative visualization, a counterintuitive yet powerful technique. We are often encouraged to visualize success and positive outcomes. The Stoics, however, would regularly contemplate adversity, the loss of loved ones, financial ruin, physical illness. This was not meant to be morbid or pessimistic, but rather a way to inoculate the mind against the shock of misfortune. By mentally preparing for the worst, one could cultivate a deeper appreciation for what one had in the present moment and develop a more resilient spirit. When setbacks inevitably occurred, the mind would be less surprised and better equipped to handle them with equanimity. Consider Marcus Aurelius again. He frequently reflected on the fleeting nature of life and the inevitability of death. This contemplation did not lead him to despair, but rather to a profound appreciation for each day and a renewed commitment to living virtuously. He understood that his time was limited, and therefore every moment was an opportunity to act with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, the four cardinal Stoic virtues. This constant awareness of impermanence, far from being depressing, instilled a sense of urgency and purpose, fostering a calm soul that was not easily swayed by trivial pursuits or fleeting desires. Both the Andean tradition and Stoicism, despite their distinct origins, converge on a fundamental truth. True strength and serenity come from an internal alignment with the natural order of things, a deep understanding of our place within the larger cosmos, and a disciplined focus on what is truly within our power. The modern world, with its relentless pursuit of external gratification and its emphasis on individual achievement, often leads us astray from these timeless principles. We are taught to conquer, to accumulate, to dominate, rather than to integrate, to share, to accept. The mystery of ancient resilience, therefore, is not a puzzle with a single hidden solution, but rather a tapestry woven from interconnected threads of wisdom. From the Andes, we learn the profound power of reciprocity, community, and understanding ourselves as part of a larger living system. From the Stoics, we learn the liberating power of distinguishing between what we can control and what we cannot, and the importance of cultivating virtue and inner judgment. Both traditions offer a path to an iron mind, a mind that is resilient, disciplined, and unwavering in the face of adversity, and a calm soul, a soul that is at peace with itself, its community, and the universe. How then can we, in our modern lives, integrate these ancient secrets? The application is not about abandoning our current lives or retreating to a mountaintop. It is about shifting our perspective, cultivating new habits, and re-evaluating our priorities. First, we can practice Ayni in our daily interactions. This might mean consciously offering help to a neighbor without expecting immediate repayment, or volunteering our time to a community project. It means recognizing that our well-being is intrinsically linked to the well-being of those around us. When we contribute to the common good, we are not just helping others. We are fortifying our own sense of purpose and belonging, two powerful antidotes to anxiety and loneliness. Second, we can consciously apply the Stoic dichotomy of control. When faced with a stressful situation, pause and ask, "Is this within my control?" If it is, then take purposeful action. If it is not, then practice radical acceptance and focus on your response. This simple mental filter can dramatically reduce the burden of worry and allow us to channel our energy effectively. For example, if you are worried about a natural disaster, you can prepare your home and your family, but you cannot control the weather itself. Focus on the preparations and let go of the anxiety about the unchangeable. Third, we can cultivate a deeper appreciation for the cyclical nature of life. The seasons change, relationships evolve, and life presents both joys and sorrows. By embracing this natural flow rather than resisting it, we can find greater peace. This means accepting the process of aging with dignity, understanding that every stage of life has its own unique gifts and challenges. It means recognizing that loss is an inevitable part of existence, and that grief, while painful, is also a testament to love. This perspective fosters a calm soul that is not easily rattled by change or impermanence. These practices are not quick fixes or superficial self-help techniques. They are profound shifts in worldview, requiring consistent effort and reflection. They invite us to look beyond the fleeting promises of modern life and reconnect with the timeless wisdom that has sustained humanity for millennia. The journey to an iron mind and a calm soul is not a destination, but a continuous path of learning, growing, and aligning ourselves with the fundamental truths of existence. In conclusion, the ancient secrets to an iron mind and a calm soul are not shrouded in esoteric mystery, but are revealed through a deep understanding of interconnectedness, personal responsibility, and the acceptance of life's natural rhythms. The wisdom of the Andes teaches us the strength found in community and reciprocity, reminding us that we are not isolated individuals, but threads in a grand tapestry. The philosophy of Stoicism guides us in discerning what is within our control, empowering us to focus our energy wisely and cultivate inner tranquility amidst external chaos. By integrating these profound principles into our modern lives, we can navigate the complexities of our world with greater resilience, serenity, and purpose. We can build not just a strong body, but a mind that is unyielding and a soul that is at peace. If these insights resonate with your own search for deeper meaning and practical wisdom, consider joining our community. Subscribe to Culture Origin for more timeless wisdom that empowers you to live a more centered and fulfilling life in the modern age.